Brian May has always been more than a guitarist. To many fans, he's the architect of Queen's signature sound. The soaring harmonies, the layered guitars, the anthemic power that made their music feel larger than life. But beneath the walls of sound and technical perfection, May has always been an emotional player. Every note he wrote, every solo he crafted, carried a story, sometimes of triumph, sometimes of heartbreak. Over the decades, he's spoken about the songs that meant the most to him. Not necessarily Queen's biggest hits, but the ones that challenged him, moved him, or captured the essence of who he was as both a musician and a human being. These are 8 Queen songs Brian May calls his favorites, each one revealing a different side of the man behind the red special. Number 8, We Will Rock You, 1977. It's impossible to imagine a Queen concert without We Will Rock You. Those stomps, those claps. It's one of the simplest songs in rock history, yet one of the most powerful, and it came entirely from Brian May's vision. After a show in 1977, May noticed something. The audience wasn't just watching Queen, they were part of the show. Thousands of fans clapped and sang along. That night, he had a thought. What if we made a song that turned the audience into the instrument? That idea became We Will Rock You. Built around nothing but stomps, claps, and a blistering guitar solo, it was pure participation, a bridge between band and crowd. May later said it was one of his proudest creations, not because of its complexity, but because of its simplicity. It's the people's song, he said. They finish it every night. Number 7, 39, 1975. If there's one Queen song that shows Brian May's heart, it's 39, tucked inside A Night at the Opera, the same album that gave the world Bohemian Rhapsody. 39 is a folk-inspired ballad about space travel and lost time. But beneath its science fiction story lies something deeply human: longing, regret, and the cost of exploration. May wrote it alone, singing the lead himself, and used his love of astrophysics to tell a tale of travelers who journey into space and return to find that 100 years have passed. It's poetic and haunting, and May has often called it the most personal song I've ever written. Even decades later, fans and critics point to 39 as one of Queen's most underrated gems, a song that shows Brian's quiet genius, far from the theatrics of Mercury or the thunder of Roger Taylor's drums. Number 6, The Show Must Go On, 1991. By the early 1990s, Queen was facing its darkest chapter. Freddie Mercury's health was failing, but he refused to stop recording. The Show Must Go On became a statement of courage, defiance, and love. Brian May wrote most of the song, inspired by the way Freddie carried himself in the face of illness. When he brought it to the band, he wasn't sure Mercury could even sing it. The vocals were brutally high, emotionally draining. But Freddie, ever the performer, downed a shot of vodka and said, "I'll do it, darling." What followed was one of the most powerful performances in rock history. May later said he couldn't listen to the song without emotion. It wasn't just a farewell, it was Freddie's soul on record. For Brian, The Show Must Go On isn't just a song. It's a symbol of what Queen always stood for: unity, resilience, and the power to keep going no matter what. Number 5, Keep Yourself Alive, 1973. Queen's very first single, and fittingly, one of Brian's earliest masterpieces. Keep Yourself Alive was written before the band even had a record deal, and it perfectly captured their youthful spirit. Energetic, optimistic, and packed with May's trademark guitar work, it was the first song that made the band realize how special their chemistry really was. But behind its upbeat message lies irony. Brian wrote the lyrics before fame, intending them as a bit of satire, a jab at the idea that success equals happiness. It wasn't supposed to be serious, he said later. It was more of a statement about survival. Even now, May often names it among his favorites, not because it topped charts, it didn't, but because it was them. pure, raw, and unfiltered Queen before the world even knew what Queen was. Number 4. Tie Your Mother Down, 1976. Brian May has always had a mischievous streak, and nowhere is that clearer than in Tie Your Mother Down. Written on an acoustic guitar during his time in Tenerife, the song started as a joke, just a throwaway riff with a ridiculous title. But Freddie loved it, and soon it became one of Queen's hardest-hitting rock anthems. The song opened concerts for years, roaring to life with May's guitar like a jet engine. It wasn't fancy, it wasn't philosophical, it was pure rock and roll, the kind that hits you right in the chest. Brian later said, "It's not deep, but it's one of my favorite moments on stage. Even today, when he plays it live with the current Queen lineup, you can see why. It's the sound of joy, a man and his guitar doing what he was born to do." Number 3, Save Me, 1980. Save Me might be one of Queen's most overlooked masterpieces. Written by Brian May during a painful breakup, the song is tender, raw, and full of longing. Freddie's vocal performance, soaring yet fragile, captures every ounce of the emotion May poured into it. Brian once said he wrote it as therapy. It was about losing someone you loved and trying to hold on. The lyrics, "I can't face this life alone," hit hard because they were real. Behind the guitars and harmonies was a man trying to make sense of heartbreak. Save Me remains one of his proudest compositions. It's not a stadium anthem. It's something quieter, the sound of a wounded heart, healed only through music. Number 2, We Are the Champions, 1977. We Are the Champions is often seen as Freddie Mercury's ultimate anthem, the soundtrack to every victory, every celebration. But Brian May has a deep connection to it too. He said in multiple interviews that performing it on stage never stops giving him chills because it's their anthem. Not just Freddie's, but the whole band's. During recording, May built one of his most soaring solos, majestic, melodic, and perfectly intertwined with Freddie's piano and Roger's drums. He later called it one of the most complete Queen songs ever written. "It's what we were all about, struggle, triumph, unity," he said. Even after Freddie's passing, when Queen performs it live with the crowd singing every word, May often pauses mid-performance, eyes glistening, letting the audience finish. It's not nostalgia, it's communion. Number 1, Bohemian Rhapsody, 1975. There could only be one at the top. For Brian May, Bohemian Rhapsody is the ultimate Queen song, and not just because it's their biggest hit. It's everything they ever were: risk, innovation, and the belief that rock could be art. Though Freddie wrote it, Brian poured himself into it. The operatic guitars, the harmonies, the climactic solo, they're May's fingerprints all over the canvas. He once called the solo his proudest recorded moment, saying it was built to feel like a voice crying out through the chaos. What makes it his favorite isn't fame or fortune, but the memory of working side by side with Freddie, Roger, and John, 4 men pushing boundaries together, not for charts, but for magic. When asked years later which song best captured Queen's soul, May didn't hesitate. Bohemian Rhapsody, that's who we were, mad, brave, and unafraid.